Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. Let's go ahead and get into Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 16. Are you in or are you out? Let's talk Steve and Noi. If you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoyed that kind of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Almost at 5,000, y'all. Like, thumbs up the video, and then hop into the comment section so we can talk about how annoying Steve is and how fake rich y'all still think Steve is. Did I say Steve was annoying? Noi. So Noi meets up with a friend, and she said that the relationship got off to a good start, and then it has had a rocky integration. So they've been very up and down. Her friend asked her how she now feels about Steve not working and if she feels a little bit better about his current job situation. Noi's friend laughed a little too much for me. But I feel like that's because when Noi has presented these topics to her friend, she was laughing too. It just seemed like a very scripted conversation. Noi said that Steve is the type of person that can only focus on one thing at a time. So because he's focusing on the marriage right now, he can't focus on anything else. But once the marriage has settled in, then maybe he'll be able to focus on a job. And then she rolled her eyes. Noi, sweetheart, baby, that don't even make sense. I'm sorry, but that does not make sense. I feel like if you still have an issue with Steve and his finances or Steve not working, you need to ask that man straight up, do you plan on getting a job now, yes or no? That is very simple, very straightforward. If he tells you no, then that's something that you need to sit with yourself and decide how you want to proceed from there. But the passive aggressiveness about the job, it's been old. It's been tired. Steve is not the millionaire y'all think he is, but go off. So Steve meets up with a friend of his, and he's designing Noi a ring. Now, for everybody that was screaming on Twitter, look, I told y'all Steve was rich. He can buy her a 10K ring, yada, yada, yada. One, y'all know damn well Steve did not buy this woman a $10,000 ring without knowing for sure if they were going to stay together or not. Two, that is a jeweler that has been doing placements and sponsorships on this show. Three, it just does not make sense. Okay? Four, a lot of people make payments on rings. Do y'all really think Steve was going to swipe his card for 10K if he has 10K available to do that? No. Five, Steve, if he is as responsible as y'all claim with money, would it be very responsible for him to spend $10,000 on the possibility of her saying yes or no? This was a scene. This was a produced scene. Okay? Now that we got that out the way, it was a pretty ring. Steve claims that Noi deserves it. I beg to differ. So then Steve and Noi go to dinner. Steve has said that he's been ready for marriage for the past 2 or 3 years. The driving force behind that was him being around his family, his nieces and nephews, and him wanting a family himself. That's his biggest driving force. He knows he's been ready. Noi asked Steve how he feels about not living together after decision day and if he thinks that it will regress their marriage. I would like to answer, I think it will. Noi said she does not think it will. Steve said he doesn't know. Noi said, well, she's just not comfortable with living with him just yet. And I just kind of feel like that's bullshit. If Steve was working and making the six figures like she requesting like she wanted him to, she would not be having an issue with them living together. Noi needs to come out and be honest. You don't want to live together because you don't want to combine your finances just yet because Steve has not showed you how he is bringing money into this house on a regular basis. That's what it is. Noi is a fool to think that their bond and their love is not going to change with them not living together. Noi's problem, and y'all keep saying I'm not empathetic to how she grew up, but Noi is using her background as a crutch. She is using how she grew up as a crutch. Because next is going to be, well, I never had to I used to have to share a room and now I live by myself and I don't want to regress back to those repressed memories of sharing a room. Like, it's always going to be some bullshit like that with her. And if Noi is having that much difficulty moving on from her past and from her childhood, then she needs to go seek some therapy, talk to somebody, and try to work that out. But you cannot use that as an excuse as to not wanting to stop posting about your marriage on social media and for you to not want to live with your husband. So Noi said that she still has questions about Steve's work in his career. He then goes on to say, and this is where Steve lost me. Steve then goes on to say, well, you've talked to my family and friends. Doesn't my track record from them tell you what I can do? No, it doesn't. It does not. Because you ask my friends, they'll tell you Tammy can argue anybody down. She will be a bomb ass lawyer. Does that mean that I can wake up tomorrow and go be a lawyer? Does that give you reason to believe that I am just gonna go be a lawyer and be making all this money? No. She wants to see action. And see, Steve knows that, and Steve gaslights her into making it seem as if she's the crazy one for wanting to know how he is going to be bringing income into the house. So Steve says that he feels that she is skeptical about his ability to make money, and that bothers him. Well, damn it, Steve, it bothers her that you're not making none. And y'all can say all y'all want to. Everybody that is really caping for Steve is, if you were in this exact same situation and Steve was giving you these vague answers and telling you to bank on what he has done in the past, you would not be comfortable with it either. So then he goes on to tell her, do you know what a sales engineer is? She said no, because we've never talked about these things. Steve did not deny that. So Steve said it's not something that you just wake up and do. I worked up to that, and I've done that for 4 whole years. I've built a career off of that. A career is not 4 years. It is not. A career is not 4 years. If you have worked yourself up and you were doing great as a sales engineer, and you feel like you're making a good amount of money and you're making a decent living and you're proud of what you did, then you would have took your ass and got another sales engineer job after losing yours because of the pandemic. If you want to take some time to chill and relax and get yourself together, think about if you want to switch career paths or not, that's perfectly fine. But at the rate that you're going now, you need to get back to work, or you need to outline a plan for Noi that makes her comfortable. So it's really annoying to me how Steve keeps saying it's frustrating that she doesn't trust him. You don't even trust her to clean the damn toilets. But you want her to trust you to bring money in the house when you literally are not working? So she keeps saying that she has not seen the Steve that has a job. He is like offended by that when it's a reality. He keeps saying, but we talked about this, but we talked about this. Well, obviously, Steve, the conversation wasn't clear. Obviously, Steve, she did not walk away from the conversation feeling as if she clearly knew what was going on. Because you said you guys were going to have a conversation about finances, and you put up the Notes app on your iPad, and y'all made a list of things that you had to pay for. And as soon as you started talking about babies, the only thing you put down on the budget was diapers. As if all babies do is shit all day. They don't eat. They don't need clothes, but we gonna have diapers for sure. Like, come on, Steve. Come on, Steve. And anybody that feels that I'm wrong, I don't care. Because y'all know, good and goddamn well, y'all would not be putting up with this from Steve. Somebody simply telling you, yeah, I used to make 6 figures is very different from somebody actually working in a job and producing a 6-figure paycheck. It's very different. If Noi keeps telling him that she does not feel secure, it is up to Steve to tell her, this is what I do. This is how I make the money. These are this is how, this is my schedule for work. I work a couple of months. I sit back and chill. I work another couple of months. That's what he needs to do for her, and he's not doing that. He wants her to have this blind faith, and it's stupid. It is honestly stupid. It's stupid. So, she also tells him that she doesn't know what it means when he constantly says that he's working to create something, because he has not produced or shown her anything tangible that she can go off of. And whenever she says that, if you notice, Steve does not deny it. He just looks at her, swallows thick. We see that Adam's apple just bouncing. He swallows thick. He's a step away from a sweat, because he knows that he's been gaslighting her, and he thought that by now she would be sick of asking, but she ain't. So their last night together, Noi tells Steve that they're laying in bed, that saying no to her on decision day is also saying no to sushi. He playfully tells her he's gonna miss sushi more than he'll miss her. So then Steve asked Noi if there was anything that she could have done differently. What would it be? She says she doesn't know, and she asks him. I said, no, I know a lot of things you could have done differently, but okay. He said that he probably would have gotten a job, and he's joking. And I'm like, see, no, it's stuff like that where he's taking it as a joke when it's something that is very concerning and something that you clearly have a real issue with. But he says that he probably would have gotten a job, and then he said that he would have just eaten the noodles that she overcooked. She then goes on to say there's like she doesn't have anything she would have changed. You know, she doesn't know how to answer that question. Well, Noah, you could have not told this man you loved him on the third day on the honeymoon. You could have watched his noodles while you were cooking and paid attention to what you were doing. You could have pulled your weight around the house, and not told him, what was it, fuck you or kiss my ass or something, when he asked if you guys can start going 50-50 on the chores. You could have not left the house. You could have not posted about your relationship on social media, not only once, but twice, and then completely negated and ignored how he really felt about it. There are a lot of things that you could have done differently, Noise. So for you to say you don't know how to answer that, little concerning. Steve then says that they should both feel comfortable asking each other for things. He should feel comfortable enough to ask her about sharing duties and about things that he kind of wants her to do without her snapping at him or being mad about it. And they replayed a clip where they were talking about the housework. And then Noi goes in the confessional and said that Steve needs to work through his issues on why he always keeps tabs on going 50-50 for things. There's nothing wrong with going 50-50 for cleaning. For cleaning. And then she says she doesn't know how their marriage will work if he doesn't, work through these issues. Basically, Noi wants to be kept. Noi wants to be able to do whatever she is in that marriage as long as you are able to give her 3 babies and you make a certain amount of money. I don't think Noi is a gold digger, but I think that what Noi needs to communicate to Steve is that when she gets pregnant, she probably wants to be a stay-at-home mom for a period of time while those kids are young. But Noi lacks emotional intelligence, so she's not able to articulate that. Instead, she wants to be very passive around the fact that, well, just get a job. How do you work? Come out and tell him, I want you to work so I don't have to while I have these kids. If you are not going to work, let me know how we are going to pay the bills and how we are going to live comfortably. Because remember, Noi has to have 3 kids. God forbid that third pregnancy is twins. Lord knows what's going to happen to one of them babies. But Noi wants to be comfortable in that space. We then get the montage at the end with all the different couples once they're separate, talking about what they're going to do differently, how they feel about decision day going into it. I personally think Steve and Noi should both say no. Steve won because she is not as emotionally intelligent as you are. She is not okay with the fact that you do not have a job. And if that is the case and you don't plan on getting a job, then you need to say no on decision day. She also don't want to live with you. Noi, you need to say no on decision day because you don't want to do anything around the house and you have a problem with his lack of employment. We need to be honest about this. Steve does not want to work at all. He wants to be able to create and dream and do all this other stuff. And then when he is down to these last $2, that is when he will decide to work. That is a great way to live if you are a single person. When you are a married man and you're planning to have children, that is not a great way to live. It's just not. Let me know how you guys felt about this episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one.